We reviewed his oral surgery office concept last week or the week before. This is his pediatric specific practice. So what he's doing is on his property, he's got a fairly large general practice that we designed and built for him. He wanted to pull the pediatric component and the oral surgery out of his current office because they were clogging up his current office. So he decided to build two separate buildings on the remainder of his property. One would be pediatric only, the other would be oral surgery only. This is the pediatric only practice. He has the ability to put about 6,000 square feet of additional building. We put 3,000 into the oral surgery, and this is about a shade under 3,000 for the pediatric.
I think that his mindset on this is awesome. I mean, it's really, really great thinking. And doctors usually just won't, the cost of the real estate of a thriving dental practice winds up being under 10% of their total cost. So they go, well, I'm spending millions of dollars. Well, the millions of dollars winds up as 5% of revenue. This noise, you know, and they're trying to occupy every seat every day because they're bugged about the cost. It's, well, okay, so open Sunday so you can reduce the cost down from 7% of revenue to 6% of revenue. Like, what would you want to like, screw up the employment happiness of your team to make them work Sunday to go ahead? I mean, if that's the only effect, like build another office and keep it open on like Friday would be fine. And maybe, okay, so have a Saturday, fine, okay. If you got a community that like wants to be off on Sundays, and like you got employees that want to work Sundays, and that's fine. But to try and run something 7 days a week, you know, 18 hours a day is just from an employee standpoint difficult. I mean, you know how we talk about we need to go ahead and accommodate California better. Well, nobody's thrilled with that, but there's not a stretch like 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. for everybody, which is what some of these offices do. But this is just a better idea. Unclog, and that way you think about coming in to the GP practice now. There's no kids like running around on furniture. There's no like people with extractions walking out with ice packs as you're sitting there deciding whether this is the place to get your veneers. It's just from a branding standpoint, you know, you just, if you sell dog toys and you let dogs into your salon business, I mean, you combine them, but it's just not necessarily a really good plan. So Bill, that's great. And this makes a lot of sense. What are the things that you have in this plan that you might have questions on?
Well, you also have to keep in mind that as far as the team goes, even though this can function as a standalone building, he does have other support buildings for the admin. So in this particular design, we're short on business and admin function.
Because it's not there.
Because it's across the parking lot in the other building upstairs.
Yeah, it's good to have enough break room in this, because break room really is something that happens not just, you know, you could say, oh, lunchtime, we've got another building you can walk across the pavement to. That's not the way it works.
Logistically, that really wouldn't work, because then people are gone.
That,
and you don't know where they are.
Exactly.
Traversing across the parking lot.
That's right.
And they're in South Dakota, so.
Yeah, in the middle of winter, you know, I'll leave this. You're not coming. You want to have an inside job.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's great. I think it makes perfect sense. I don't. It's an interesting feed to pull kids back out of the game room, you know, onto the floor. I think it's kind of a creative thought. I don't fully know if that's the way it's going to flow. But that's, if he does that right, that's where the kids are going to be. Probably need a portable game thing to bring to the room, drag them off the game board.
Is that going to end up being when mom and son, whatever, come out of the room, the kid runs straight to the game room when he's done, and the mom's like, let's go, we have to check out, we gotta go,
It could be.
because he sees it straight ahead.
Yeah.
Unless it's just a solid door so that they're not seeing the clinical side while they're in there,
Yeah.
and when they come out, they're not.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
see it, they can get back into it. Yeah, I think that that's probably, that's really you know, a sneak route in to bring kids to the treatment or treatment floor. And sound attenuation there, gonna be really important.
Mhm.
You know, to
Where are
work
we
that
showing the arrow access for the CBCT? We don't have that.
It would come off the primary hallway, the clinical hall.
Come up this side.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a little bit of extra space here that we're really good at not wasting space, quote, wasting space. This does not bother me in that there'll be families
That's kind of what I was planning.
there'll be a gaggle of,
Yeah, stroller, mom
Right.
with a kid in
Right.
one arm and the other
Mhm.
kid straggling behind. And then you got more kids strolling through, coming into the
Right.
clinical area.
right.
So I wanted a little bit more space,
Yeah,
plus the
and-
door into the
Everyone's a wow
bathroom.
factor with this too, so I think that gives you some flexibility.
To create something special there, yeah. Yeah, and if you have this area here, because you've got your doors staggered out.
Yep.
I think really works out well. So I really like the plan.
Yeah, I picked a 3-chair and a 2-chair bay because I didn't want to do a full 5-chair bay. I think separating it out, I've always felt was kind of a ideal because
Yeah,
you've
it's-
got, maybe random kids in the 3-chair bay, but the 2-chair bay is for the siblings.
You can have family, right?
Right.
And that can be a family, even a family of 4, you can put the whole family in there and do 2 kids and 2
Right.
kids. Yeah,
All
and
stacked.
doctors will have opinions on this, so the doctor says, nope, I want it 5, okay. And as we know, more people.
Potentially
move into
connect
that.
them.
In pedo, you either got assistants doing hygiene, mainly, and they don't get held up. And you have doctors actually doing small treatment.